All right, all right, all right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engine!
Okay. Everyone's muted. I'm the only unmuted one.
Oh my god.
You're doing great. Wow.
We're back,
Professional podcasters. Okay, let's get into this.
Oh,
Welcome back
boy.
to the Green White Checkered podcast. We're just going to mute Joe now. I'm
Yeah, Joe,
already
you can stay
over
muted.
it. Welcome back to the Green White Checkered podcast. Thank you for joining us again on another Tuesday. We got a lot of good action to talk about this week, and I think the most important one that we need to talk about is Fallout, the TV show.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling about it?
Fantastic.
Excuse
Most important
me.
news. Most important news of the week.
Yeah.
That show. Great show. Fantastic.
Yeah, nothing happened to Texas. Let's go to Dega. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Super
There was a
speed
race in
race.
Texas.
Let's move on.
Move on.
Joe,
Talladega.
Joe, what did you think about Texas?
Nah, best racetrack ever. It should be every race.
That's
Chase
my
won.
joke,
He's
Joe.
best.
Okay, and that's it for
Oh,
Joe.
oh
for the
my
week.
God. Jeez.
Oh, Joe's down below me now. That's weird. But
I had to get it out of my system.
yeah. As soon as he said best racetrack, I'm like, get him out of here. Like this is
Yeah.
I want to be clear, it's not the best racetrack.
To be clear, I was joking. Track still sucks.
yeah.
It does.
So obviously Chase Elliott wins. Joe is very happy that his driver is, proven that he is the number 3 at Hendrick Motorsports.
You're in that number 3 spot.
Here we go.
This ruins my who gets to 20 wins first, Chase Elliott or William Byron. I mean, Chase only needs 1 now.
Yeah.
And William needs 7. I still think it's a possibility, but
Just say it's not out of the question.
odds, odds are a little bit lower. I'd still bet it. I don't even know where to go here. So what do we think of the race? Like, actually think of it. There was a lot of stuff that happened, Joe, without saying it's a good racetrack.
It was better than I thought it would be. I mean, Texas is a low bar to begin with. There was a lot of guys wrecking on their own. I know Jimmy, Denny, off the top of my head, obviously Kyle with his tire coming off. But it was a fine race. It wasn't the worst. It's not like the awful Texas races that we've had in the past. But it still was kind of bad. And obviously I like the end. But
Zach, what's your take?
I do not think it was a good race. I think it was an entertaining race. I don't think it was a good race. There's a lot of chaos and stuff like that. So if you're all for that kind of thing, I'm sure it was great. But I mean, as far as a racing product, it still sucked. I mean, the cars were single file when we had our long runs at the beginning. I mean, Kyle Larson had like a 6-second lead or something like that, and
yeah,
nobody could pass. Like every time I just saw a car spin out, I was like, God, I hate this fucking track because it's just ruined. Like anytime somebody would try to get to like the second lane, they would just lose it in 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. They've ruined it with the PJ1, then 3 and 4 has that giant bump in it that was sending guys. So I don't know. I think Texas still needs a reconfig. I did see people, how crazy NASCAR fans are. Like all the chaos people saw this, like, oh, Texas, this is great reconfig. It's great now. We don't need to change it. Yes, you do. It had one good race. Now all of a sudden that just forgives all of the terribleness. Well, it had one entertaining race. So I don't know.
Bubba's tweet.
Oh yeah, they can't repave it now because Chase won.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they'll keep it the same for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I guess if you just like seeing things go crazy, it was a good race for you. But for me, I would have liked to see the racetrack itself be a little more racy. I just feel like out of all that track, you can use like 30% of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I don't know. It reminds me of, what race was it this year? I think it was like Phoenix where we were like, that wasn't bad. But I think it's because we're going in with such low expectations that, like, unless the race really is just one of the worst of all time, we're going to think it was actually decent. I mean, that being said, though, I think agree it wasn't the worst Texas race. I'll admit I wasn't the most attentive to it just because it was Texas, and me and Lindsay kind of had a little day out on the town, so I kind of had up my phone, but it also had the Masters on. I was just kind of half watching it. But whenever I was watching it, I mean, I was like, okay, this is actually not that bad. Put it on, obviously, for the last bit and everything, but got really frustrated at the end whenever we couldn't go more than half a lap without someone spinning. But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't. Yeah, I think it was a lot of our reactions to Texas is just because of the low expectations, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the beginning of the race, there goes my camera, like I expected. Sorry, I started an update like half hour ago, and it took forever, and apparently it's now done. Okay, but what I was gonna say is, right off the bat, the racing wasn't great, as Zach pointed out. Larson had a pretty good lead. Ty Gibbs was running him down, but then we had pit stops, and then after that, it was back to the same thing. Just single file, nothing really going on until Kyle Busch wrecks. No. Oh no, Jimmy Johnson. My bad.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. Wrecks, just self spin out of 2, I think. But then the real interesting thing happens. Under caution, Kyle Larson, the leader, his tire falls off. Completely falls off. He gets a 2-lap penalty for it. He never really rebounded. I mean, he got back to the lead lap, stage 3 at some point, but we'll talk about the rest that happened there later. But it just changed the whole race, I felt like, because you had the dominant leader just out of the race. And the second place runner at that point was Ty Gibbs, who I chose to win last week. He gets a pit penalty. And so now he's at the back of the field. Just everything's different right now. You got Denny Hamlin and them up there. Just, I don't know. It made things more equal, I felt like. The 2 fastest guys that were running away from the field closed everything back up. They're out of the race, basically. Yeah.
No. Yeah, for sure.
That did happen.
It did. How did you guys feel about? We had quite a few lead changes, but I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. Like, it seemed more like mistakes for the lead changes than actual passes. Like, you had guys either overrun the turn, get up to that PJ1 and just lose momentum, or we saw throughout the day guys wreck. We saw Michael McDowell fighting for the lead wreck. We saw Denny Hamlin fighting for the lead wreck. Christopher Bell, he hit the bump in 3 and 4, took him out of it. Just more mistakes than actual racing, I felt like.
Well, and I mean, I think this is not to sound pedantic, but I'm going to. Like, this gave like a lot of what we want to see in a race, but in my mind, it did it the wrong way. So like, I do want to see guys struggle and make mistakes and have cars that are hard to control and they're slipping and sliding all over the place. But I don't want it to be because there's, a rallycross jump in 3 and 4 that keeps throwing them off, or because there's chemicals on the track that if you touch, it just sends your car. Like, I want those things. I want drivers to struggle and have self spins. That brings the field back together and all that kind of stuff. But it's just. It wasn't the way I wanted to get it, which maybe I shouldn't be so picky, but that's just like sort of because I've been trying to like square this. Like, how can I make this make sense to me? Because like I always argue for a car that's hard to drive and the guys are on edge, but is that what I got at Texas? I don't really think so. I think the track just being in the condition is in sort of create these situations. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I don't care for it, but that's just me.
Yeah. So I guess beyond that, the main thing that we saw was the JGR pit stops and Toyota as a whole pit stops. Saw more mistakes. Like I said, Ty Gibbs had a penalty right off the bat. And then we saw Truex get a penalty. And then Reddick in the final pit stop, green flag pit stop,
Well, you
was
can't blame that
7
one on
seconds
JGR.
slower.
That one's
Well, I
those are
said
Denny's
Toyota.
guys. Did you say Toyota?
I said
Okay.
Toyota.
Those
Yeah.
are Denny's guys specifically.
I started off JGR and then I said Toyota.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7 seconds slower than Denny Hamlin. He loses the lead, which he gained it back. He did gain it back. Fox didn't show it because
What?
Clint was busy talking.
No way.
But
They're eating fucking ice cream.
Yeah, they were.
Andy's
Did anybody
that's
else
right. It
get
was Andy's ice
triggered?
cream.
Did anybody else get triggered by that little segment? Like, I was like, "There's a race going on. You assholes miss enough. I don't need you doing this ice cream eating segment."
Wasn't it during a caution though?
I don't know. I don't care. It's just like the optics of it were just like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've done stuff like that before. I didn't really mind it that
Maybe
much.
I was just triggered by it. I was like, "You
Yeah.
assholes."
Boomer, gosh. But if a company wants to put a bunch of money in the sport to make Clint and Mike and Kevin like even bigger idiots than they already do,
My
then
problem isn't
fine.
with the custard company. I get them when to do their advertisement.
It's with Fox selling that
Yes.
that possibility.
Yeah.
It's just Fox. You need to pay attention to it as much as possible because Lord knows you miss so much constantly.
Yeah. I'm sure if there wasn't a
Yeah.
caution around, then they would have done it during like the last 10 laps anyway. So it would have been a great time.
Well, we got to get this segment in.
Yeah.
But as let's see where I was. Pit stops. What do you guys think of the tires? I felt like they were maybe a little bit better than where we've been as far as fall off. Where we saw some guys that would pit, 20 laps after the other person, have a little bit of momentum, but it didn't feel like it was where it still should be. I mean, you're talking,
I mean, it's the same tire. I don't
Very
think they
minimal.
change it.
yeah. Still seems like an issue though, right? There's no wear, hard tire.
Oh yeah.
Just, I mean, we saw it all day. Guys would stay out or take 2 tires and stay up front, which
Mhm.
is kind of attributed to, being up front. You get the clean air, you don't have the dirty air in the back. So the guys that do have the new tires can't pass. And then it's just where it was. And it basically came down to mistakes. Like I said, we saw McDowell and Briscoe get into it, but just the same hard tire. We need something better. We also need some passing lanes. I mean, that's a problem with Texas is that PJ1 sitting up about 2 car lengths. If you go above that, it's like ice. You can't race up there at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hard tire. Just didn't help.
I mean, what makes the Gen 7 so good at mile and a half is its ability, is the fact that it can get away from, you can get away from people. You can
Right.
take the high line, middle line, low line, whatever. You have options. You don't have to follow directly behind the guy in front of you. But at Texas, you kind of do because you only have like a lane and a half, maybe 2 lanes to work with. So they're just all stuck. So it's basically sort of like a big Martinsville in a sense, with only being a single lane. That's why I want to see more of the track usable. And I think if you just, grind down 3 and 4 to get rid of that bump and make 1 and 2 as it was, whatever the 24 degrees of banking, I think it'd be a fine track, especially for this car.
Yeah, I think it was frustrating seeing all those restarts, and you would get a good run out of 2, like good fight down the back stretch. Chase was side drafting, pulling the guy back, everything. And they enter 3, and Chase just pulls on him completely. Like there's no chance of them staying on their quarter, on his quarter at all to even try to get her under the quad oval. It's just like straight up, like no grip up there, or whatever. If they were alongside through 3 and 4, they'd hit that bump and spin out. And so it's just, it's frustrating to see that kind of racing again. So I mean, I don't know, got to figure out something with this track, but I think
I think
And like you're
Carson
saying with
Hocevar
the-
after the race said something about, don't mean to cut you off, Andrew, but
No, you're fine.
no, he did. He meant to.
I did.
Yeah.
I did mean to. But I think Carson Hocevar somebody was talking to him after the race in an interview, and he said because he got his first top 10, so good for him. But he said he basically just rode in the bottom. Like he just wasn't taking any chances, wasn't taking any risks, and just let other guys take themselves out. And he made spots like that. And just like it's one of the most aggressive drivers saying his best option was to sit and ride. Like I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, Carson Hocevar, for better or worse, you know, he's super aggressive, and then for him to say, "My plan today was just take what the track would give me," like I don't like that.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say was during restarts, like coming to the turn 1-2, you saw him try to spread out, and as soon as they got into that PJ1, it didn't end well. You usually saw somebody go all the way up to the wall, or like I don't even know which restarts. We had so many green white checkers at the end where Larson gets spun. You know, they're trying to go 4 wide. That's not gonna work, and it sucks. You got all that track. Like it is a wide track there. You can't use it. I don't know. I'd like him to see them redo 1 and 2, add some maybe progressive banking, a little bit more at the top than what it is right now. I mean, right now it's just so flat, right? It's wide, flat. Going high is not really going to do much for you. And then with the PJ1 just making it ice up top, what's the point, right? But yeah, it's rough. I mean, when did they repave it? Anybody know? It wasn't horribly long enough. Was it in 2020? Was that the first? I wonder if it was like 2019 or 2020, because that's when we were using the PJ1.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I just feel like that track, I don't know. It's so early for a repave, but it kind of needs it. Which they removed the scoring tower in turn 1, so who knows? Maybe they're getting ready to do something.
I mean,
or maybe the place is just falling apart.
That would be the only thing. That's like the only. Why would you take the scoring pylon down? I don't understand it unless you're going to do something that would require it. But even still, if you were going to do something that would require it, why would you do it the week before the race?
Yeah.
Leave it up.
Well, I mean, we saw during the truck race, there was no lights in turn 3 and 4. So every time they went down there, it's just dark. It was like, what is going on? Who knows what Marcus Smith's up to? Does sound like him and Denny are
not putting money in the track. I guess Denny was right after all.
Yeah, he was. He got his final say on that.
It wasn't a good showing for Marcus. I'll say that.
Yeah.
2017 was a reconfig/repave, so a little bit
Brandon,
longer.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Brandon. Hope you had a good weekend at the track. Looked like
he
he
was
had
a man on the ground. He was sending all kinds of cool pictures.
Yeah,
he was.
It was awesome. Really cool.
But so let's get into it. So, like I said, Tyler Reddick had a long pit stop, and basically from there on out, it was all green flag pit stops. The top, I think it was about 15, had not pit yet, and John Hunter Nemechek decides he's just going to ruin this race for me and wreck.
Nice.
I was pretty hot in Discord. I was not happy that he did this because all the guys that I bet on were the ones that already pit, pretty much ending most of my bets. But John Hunter Nemechek spins. Obviously, the top guys pit, regain, a lot of positions there. I think everybody pit at that point, but it just set up for the end of the race to be a shit show, and that's kind of what we got. We had then Ricky Stenhouse spin with 17 to go, which, okay, 17 to go. We got plenty of laps to race, except NASCAR decides, nah, we're just going to stay under caution for 9 whole laps for a single car spin. He didn't hit anything. Like, what are we doing? 9 laps. So then we go to green with 8 to go.
I'll tell you what we're doing. We're running laps now, so Chase Elliott can get a win. That's
Yeah,
what we're doing.
8 laps to go. We get the green flag. This is when Larson spins going into turn 1. So instantly another caution. 8 laps to go. Single car wreck. Easy, right? No, green, white, checkered. What are we doing? Like, as Zach said, it's like we're just trying to run the laps down, get this race over with the guy that we want to win. Weird.
I wonder if that was almost a way. I mean, how many cautions had we had in the lap? Like, how before the green white checkers, how many spins we had in the past? Like, I guess 20 green flag laps at that point. Like, was it excessive? The excessiveness not starting to the green white checkers? I can't really remember.
So it wasn't really excessive. I mean, it was every, I don't know, 30, 40 laps, it felt like. We had a couple green flag pit stops. It was around, I think, 45 to go when John Hunter spun out. So, I mean, you got 20 laps of green flag run.
Okay.
And
I just wasn't sure if that was almost, I couldn't remember how many cautions they'd had. So I was kind of playing a devil's advocate of, maybe it was their way of a single file restart because of too many cautions. You know what I mean? Like, not that obviously that would fix anything, but like, okay, let's, this is getting embarrassing. Let's just make this race run green as short as possible at this point. But if it wasn't that crazy before, then that doesn't even make sense. So I was just trying to think of any reason why they would do that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that crazy. It'd been a little while before Stenhouse spun out, but I mean, kind of to Zach's point, it seemed like they were trying to push something to happen. And honestly, if you run down the laps too, everybody's going to run harder because they have that fewer laps to get, positions.
Mhm.
So they knew what they were doing. They're trying to get a good race out of this. They're trying to get some action, but like I said, instantly we go back and we're under caution, which Chase Elliott just happens to be in the lead. They never showed it, like when the caution came out versus where he was, which I found fishy, but Chase Elliott's the leader. I don't know. It felt fishy to me. That's all I'm saying. We know how hard it is to pass, but
They didn't feel fishy to me.
Well, of course not. Yeah. I mean, but that's my thought too, is like, end of the day, 15 lap run versus a 2-lap run are going to have the same result there because Chase just gets ahead and then he can't pass anyway. So I'm like, benefit of the doubt. I don't know if NASCAR was really thinking like that, but at the same time, of course they were, and there's no other option besides they were just trying to benefit their golden boy. So
I'll tell you what, Chase fans must have been just fucking beaming. You got Denny Hamlin wrecking.
Oh yeah.
While racing Chase to the lead. You guys, the Chase Elliott fan base is so unbearable, dude. Like, I saw somebody saying something, oh, this is finally payback for Martinsville 2017.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Chase tried to fucking murder Denny in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And he got him back 2 weeks later at Phoenix that year anyway. So
I'm sure someone was like, I'm glad Harvick's in the booth, not out there on track to wreck Chase again like he did at the Roval. Like, I'm sure there was someone like that too. And I know we give Joe a lot of crap, but Joe's one of the most bearable Chase Elliott fans, which is saying something, but or not saying a lot, I guess. But Joe's not as bad as most of the fan base, but there are definitely some real homers out there for sure.
They're just crazy. And the funny thing is, like, Denny
grudges
Hamlin,
forever.
He compliments Chase all the time. Like, he was breaking down the race and he's complimenting Chase and his restarts and how he was driving and this, that, and the other thing. And like, it's just like, why do you guys? And Chase doesn't care. So like, why do you guys care more than Chase does? It's so weird to me.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, somebody made like a little promo video for Chase Elliott, like Chase is back or whatever. And the video that starts off with was when he right hooked Denny into the wall. It's that's the video you want to use to,
right.
There's a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, Denny got what he deserved that day. Like, you guys are fucking nuts.
Yeah. I don't get the Denny hate. I really don't.
I don't.
Like, oh, he's a whiner. It's like, man, this guy's trying to help the sport every time I hear him. But...
He doesn't. Like, if you go listen to him, like if you listen to his podcast and listen to it just with an open ear, he doesn't like whine and push off stuff like people say he does. He explains things, and I don't know if it's his fault. He takes responsibility, and if somebody like Chase outdrives him, he says it. Says, I get Denny not being your favorite driver. I'm not saying that, but like, why do people hate him so much? I don't get it. They're weird.
Yeah, and so that was one of the things. Like, he always says it's somebody else's fault that he wrecks or whatever. And it's like, he flat out says every time that he wrecks, oh, it was my fault. I did this wrong or whatever. And it's like, after this race, it's like, yeah, Chase did everything he needed to do. He ran a great race and all that. And it's just like, they're gonna shit on him. You know, it's gonna happen.
I mean, he said that he thought about it, is pushing it worth the consequences for going for the win, and at the time he decided, so he admitted he just fucking sent it and it went around on him. So I don't know.
Brandon said the crowd was electric in the last 20 minutes. So I did have a buddy who's there at the race. It's his first ever race. His buddy apparently knows the Dillons and got them like pit pass and stuff. And he was learning a lot about like he messaged me and he was like, oh, I know you're a NASCAR fan. I think you'd be interested in this. And like sent me a picture from the garage. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I had no idea how much actually went into this. Like just like walking down pit road and like he's talking about like the tires and like all the prep work they do for the tires and all the like data they get from the tires and everything. It's like I had no idea. And so that was really cool for me to have someone there like experience his first NASCAR race. And I almost messaged him like, hey man, like keep expectations kind of low. Like you're at Texas Motor Speedway. Don't get too, don't let the race itself jade your entire experience of racing and everything. But I mean, for a new fan, having that many like wrecks and stuff, I mean, like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like whenever I was a kid or like first in a NASCAR wrecks, or or even when I bring people to races, like when's the wreck's gonna happen? When the wreck's gonna happen? So I get like I don't, as much as as I said, like it was that I didn't like the chaos. At the same time, for like a really casual fan, I don't mind that kind of race. It's better than I guess just single file the whole time and like just being really boring for not just like big fans but also new fans. I think at least redeeming quality. I don't mind a little chaos or whatever of like a bunch of even if it's a single car spin, I don't really mind that. For people like that who are new fans, that's maybe kind of a hot take, but I don't know. I was happy that there's at least some kind of action for my buddy who's there.
Yeah, it was a chaotic race. I mean, it helped when it was, I guess, the leaders wrecking, right, or the big names at the same time. Like it just made it a whole different feel. I guess you're like, oh, this guy's going to be a contender. Oh no, he's in the wall. Or,
right.
Kyle Larson's going to get back up here. He's back on lead. Oh, Kyle Larson's spinning around. It's just
best driver in the world.
Chaos. I mean, we saw it at Bristol.
That's the kind of stuff you had when you had a tire that wore, a 900 horsepower car, and a car that was really hard to handle. That was all the great stuff we used to have.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's what I mean. Like, it was like we got a taste of what used to make NASCAR so exciting to watch at Texas, albeit in ways that I would say aren't the right ways, like I said, but it's
right.
Like it was like a sampling of that.
I kind of had that.
Especially
good.
I was just gonna finish up with that, especially what you saying about your low expectations of Texas, which is super fair, and then add that to the shitty last couple of weeks we've had leading up to Texas,
right?
Martinsville and Richmond and all that stuff. So I think that certainly helped.
Yeah. I think that like I kind of had this thought while watching, just seeing the guys spin out on their own and everything. Just we've asked for a car that's hard to drive, and then people complain that like, well, this car's not savable, and then you have the argument of like, well, that still makes you have to drive on the edge, like, and really not past that point. Like, yeah, we wish the car was savable, whatever. You kind of have that argument, and I think one thing that we could maybe we've slipped into, or like some fans at least have slipped into, is this idea that we need to replicate exactly what it was like with the Gen 4 and the Gen 3 and everything. Like make it the exact same, hard to drive but savable, high horsepower, or high horsepower, low downforce to make it drive exactly. I'm not saying that any of these things are necessarily wrong, but I don't think that's the right way to look at it. I mean, the sport needs to evolve. It needs to change as technology and everything changes. So yeah, do I like that the cars are not necessarily savable, and that's why we see so many like single car spins like that? No. But do I like it that there is still that element that I feel like we never really had with the Gen 6? Like, I feel like maybe we did, and I'm just misremembering, but I feel like we didn't see that many just straight up people losing the car with the Gen 6, especially with a high downforce package when they're just glued to the track. Am I remembering that wrong, or
I think you are.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't feel like I remember seeing that many with the Gen 6 though.
There's two different eras, and what's really
I mean, like, I meant like the later era. I mean, like that's what I'm talking about.
The later era in everybody's mind is the 550 high downforce, and I think
that's what I mean.
I think that's why the Gen 6 gets such a shitty name.
Right. That's that's what I meant with like high downforce, low horsepower, like Gen 6. Like I should have clarified, but I feel like we never saw that once they moved that kind of package, because they're just glued to the track. And then pushing off the right, like the cars aren't really getting loose, more fighting tight than anything. I don't know. I think that, so again, like I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying I think that if our goal is to be okay, let's make it exactly like it was in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, I think that's kind of a wrong mindset. I don't know. That could be a hot take. I don't know, but that's just kind of a revelation, if you will, I had while watching on Sunday.
So my sort of counter to that would be, and I don't think we need to make a Gen 4. Like, I mean, we always just go back to look at the Xfinity car, which I guess technically is a is a COT. But you don't necessarily have to do that. It's just you need to create a stock car, and what does a stock car do? And that's something we'd have to define and figure out. And to me, it's a car that lets you hang it out on exit. It lets you drive it off the right rear and get loose and drive over the limit. The problem with the Gen 7s, it seems like you can get close to that edge, but once you cross it, like, you're just gone. Whereas old cars, even the Xfinity car, you're able to hang it out and drive it off that right rear. And sometimes going over the limit of grip is even faster. I mean, there's been player races where you see a guy chasing somebody down, and he's actually got the tail hanging out, and he's still reeling them in. And that's just awesome to see, and even if that makes the car, quote, easier or more forgiving to drive, like, it looks more dramatic, right? Like, I mean, you look at like a GT3 car doing a road course, right? Like, they're going fast and they're hard to drive, I'm sure, but they just look so stuck. So they're just they're playing on the ground. But then you look at one of our cars, especially the Gen 6 or an Xfinity car doing a road course, and they're bopping all around, they're rolling around the corner, they're sliding, they're locking up. It's just a dramatic showing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, that's sort of what a stock car is, and that's like what NASCAR's identity is. Even if it's not, super up to date and on the technical cutting edge, like, I don't think that's what NASCAR has to be, because then once you're that, like, you're kind of just like everything else then. Like, having 5 lugs, that made us unique. Having an H pattern shifter, that was unique to NASCAR. So it was like NASCAR is almost like a time capsule. Like, everything else was sort of moving on. Like, I mean, I think you can get even little tiny open wheel weekend racers now are sequential shifts, and even Mazda Miatas are sequential shifts. Like, everything is. So it's like NASCAR was like a time capsule that was just like sort of pure, and it was just a pure racing vehicle. And I don't know, that's just cool to me. And I get it. My opinion is not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to see it progress with technology and all that, and that's how we are where we are. But I don't know. That's just what a NASCAR stock car kind of is to me.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to I know you say this a lot, Zach, but it's the idea of like stock car. It's like we need like, people want it to be a true stock car again. But if that was true, we'd have traction control, we'd have freaking lane assist, like, we would have like so much more in these cars.
Autopilot.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I think tire pressure gauges, like, all this stuff is in modern cars. So I think that, like, to your point, I think that, like, almost fully getting rid of trying to stick with the term stock, like, to your point, like, making it a stock race car, like, in its own colloquial, I don't know, colloquial is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, its own term stock car, like, not in the term of like a stock car, but you know what I mean? Like, make it its own thing.
That's what it always was to me. Like, there was always a difference. Like, a stock car to me never meant production car. Never. Right.
And it stopped being that. I feel like in, like, even Gen 3 started getting away from that. Gen 1, Gen 2, pretty much, like, pull it off the lot, make some modification. Gen 2, I think, is like the
Lumina's in that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then Gen 3 started getting a little bit more
like your Aero 90s car.
Yeah.
I think early 90s that's Gen 2, I believe.
Nah, so
I think it's earlier than that.
Off a quick Google, I'm seeing like the Superbird and those sort of cars.
Right. Yeah. Even like
that too.
Yeah, I guess even
according to Google.
Yeah. I feel like even with those big wings, I mean, obviously, I guess you might make a modification, but I still feel like even then you're, it's still kind of I guess a stock car that you're making modifications. So, like, looking at pictures of these, I mean, everything's like, looks like something you see on the road, just with the horsepower painted on the on the hood, and then numbers on it and the name and a few sponsors. And then once you get to Gen 3, I mean, it starts to kind of get away from that a little bit. And then definitely with Gen 4, I feel like it's really whenever we're like, all right, this is not something you took off the lot. This is now a race car specifically. And so just, I think even further moving away from that. I mean, I don't know if the time capsule point I necessarily agree with, like, because I don't know, like you said, sequential shifting and stuff. Like, I mean, I think, Gen 6, Gen 5, Gen 6, I think they were even, still stick, but I think they're still making a decent amount of stick shift cars. And now it's like, I mean, it's a time capsule, yeah, but I guess it's still moving forward in time. Like, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, it's still a time capsule that we just now got to sequential shifters, like in 2022 or 21, whenever the Gen 7 came
22.
out, but 22, yeah. But I again, to your point, I think that we just almost need to completely get rid of the idea of trying to stay anywhere near stock, apart from having, a Ford Mustang and a Chevy Camaro be the models on them and everything. I think everything else, like you're saying, I would like to see be more of designed to be a race car in the NASCAR style that's doing those things you're talking about. So I agree. I think I agree with you there.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's how you get the best product is you design the car to do the task it's supposed to do. Look at sprint cars, look at late models, all those short circle track stuff, dirt track, asphalt late models, all that stuff. They're all designed to do the task, and they do a very good job at it. Right. So I think it's just like a production Camry, I've said it before, is not designed to do what we do. Yeah. So,
maybe not yours.
not
sure is. Sure is. All right.
So we kind of went off the rails there. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Okay, so we're talking about the green, white checkers and all that, and so we'll get to the last one.
Wow, it's so cool when they shut our podcast on the broadcast.
I know,
really,
awesome.
really neat.
Yeah. So Chase Elliott, final green, white checkered. They're talking right before the green. He's low on gas. This is the final one. Blah blah blah.
I got scared when I heard that,
dude. I was praying for another caution, like so hard. I was like, please, baby, let it happen.
No,
but no, it doesn't happen. Chase gets out to a pretty good lead, which then on the white flag lap out of turn 2, we have the Byron Ross Chastain incident.
Love it,
Zach. We're gonna go to you on this. What did you think of that incident?
I thought it was awesome. I've said it before. I don't have a problem with the way Ross drives. What I have a problem with is everybody saying how shitty he drives, and nobody does anything about it. Nobody, like you all know how he drives at this point. Driving the same. And William Byron fucking did it. Could William lifted and hit the brakes and missed him? Probably. Like, I mean, I did see the onboard replay, and it does look like Ross came down more. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's like William could have cut him a break there, but he doesn't. He just you can hear his in car. He puts the foot to the floor. Like there was
Ross got Rossed.
Yeah, he got Ross. That was awesome. That's what I've said since Ross was racing aggressive. And it's like if you want to have a problem with it, have a problem with it, but race him the way he races you. Don't let him make you look like a bitch and then complain about it. So that was awesome. I was surprised it came from Byron of all people, but
I'm glad Byron's starting to do that stuff. He needs to.
I wish Byron wasn't a Hendrick driver because I want to root for him, but I just can't root for the evil empire. Like, I like Byron. I want him to do well, but at the same time, no.
Penske evil empire. Come on.
Hendrick.
Penske.
It's Hendrick nowadays.
It's Hendrick.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to say that 24 car's got, a little spot in my heart just because Gordon fan growing up. So I kind of got to like Byron a little, but I'm not going to go as far as saying I'm a fan. I'm a Reddick fan, plain and simple. But yeah, no, I agree. I think Ross got Ross. He lost the momentum. He tried to come down the track a little bit and tried to hope that Byron slowed up for him, and he didn't. He just ran him over. The best thing that I like though is after he goes to the infield care center, Ross would not comment on the incident, went straight to his
that gets you some bitch points there, right? Like, surely.
Oh my god! Like, you got what's coming to you. Like, every driver should be doing this, and you're gonna be a little bitch about it. Like,
right?
Oh man, I don't know. Like, I wish I was going to Talladega this weekend with media just so I could like walk around Ross the whole time and just like constantly, hey Ross, you ready yet? You want to talk about it? No. How about now? How about now? Just
A small podcast host gets kicked out of Talladega Super Speedway for harassing Ross Chastain.
After having
Well,
a
just wait till
watermelon shoved on
Kansas.
his head.
Hey, that's a public awareness model. Any publicity is good publicity. So you have my
Yep.
blessing, Andrew.
True. True.
All right. Any last thoughts for the Cup race?
Burn
No.
Texas.
Go Chase.
The whole state. Just kidding.
Also, well, I don't know if we've talked about it, but I always see it on Twitter every week, and I guess I don't know if it's Fox only, but we agree we hate the immediate interview after, but like the camera guy just ruins all the good shots. Like,
Yeah.
there's the good one to Chase like on top of his car, like hands up, and then there's a Fox camera guy just like right in front of the shot, and like, can we wait 10 seconds and let them like have their moment, please?
Nope.
Yeah. The one I like is when they're doing the burnouts and the camera guy's like running up to the car into the
Yes.
smoke. It's like, bro,
About to get whacked.
like
Dude, those are
first of all,
terrifying.
you
bro.
got some balls.
Yeah.
But second of all, that driver has no idea you're there.
no.
Yeah.
He could just come swinging around.
And hopefully he did.
It looked like one of those street
Yeah.
videos where they're doing donuts in the street and hit somebody. Like,
Streetcar
Be
takeover.
really fitting if a Ford driver won it. Yeah, because then you have the Mustang knock it on the
Oh
ground.
my
Yeah.
god, the beam.
yeah. No, if it ever happens, it's going to be Denny Hamlin or Bubba. And
Oh,
the
no,
internet will
Bubba.
lose its fucking
Oh yeah, Bubba attempts
Uh.
manslaughter on a man
mind.
while celebrating
God,
his
thanks.
NASCAR handed out win. That's the Facebook.
Says the Tony Stewart fan.
Who's
Ew.
Tony Stewart?
Who's a Tony
Oh,
Stewart?
no. I was saying like
I'm still
in your
lost.
hypothetical.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's got Tony Stewart profile picture, like yeah, exactly.
But look at your driver and remember what he did.
I think we're the number one podcast at talking about that Tony Stewart incident at this point.
Yeah,
I think it was last week. And I was
Second
We
time's
brought it up. Yeesh.
twice in 2 weeks. Hell yeah,
Next
boys.
week
We
on the
put that
Tony
in our
Stewart Killed
bio.
a Guy podcast.
That's our background
new
photo. It's a
segment.
sprint car.
Tony killed a guy.
Yeah, Tony, I mean to talk to you about that. You should probably lie low for it.
Oh man,
Anyway.
we're going to hell, guys. We're going to hell.
Yeah, we are.
All right, before we move on, just want to remind everybody: like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. We are live on Twitch, on our Twitch, the Green White Checkered Pod, the GWC Pod. That's it. I always mess it up.
That's the one.
That's
Same everywhere else: Twitter, YouTube. Just search it; it'll pop up. We're there.
Shout out to our
Speaking
live
of-
viewers. JT wants Zach to come to the dark side of Hendrick. And
I can't do it.
Brandon at first didn't think there was a camera guy in his picture of Chase's celebration, then realized there was, but he wasn't in the way at least. So thanks, Brandon. But shout out to the live viewers.
Yep.
Come on.
So let's hop into Friday night's truck race. Zach was a little happy, at least one time when we were out
Yeah.
at Texas.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch wins. He was getting chased down by Heim, but not enough laps. I don't know.
Nope.
Like a couple more, that race would have been a good race, but
Just
Beyond
curious
that-
already.
it was pretty shit. The only other thing I want to comment is the Thad Moffitt opening lap, turn one, goes wide, and this guy has his wheel cranked all the way left, gets out of the PJ1, and just goes into a couple trucks. Once he gets some grip, the broadcast, his steering wheel came off. It's like, no, we just had no grip. That PJ1's ice, and it was funny during the race. Zach even was like, "Why is the track black like that? Why is it shiny?"
Yeah,
Like,
it looked like a rubbered in dirt track.
yeah, it did. I mean, they had a nice glisten, 2-3 trucks up, but other than that, like, not an exciting truck race. I didn't feel like that was the Texas race. But we'll move on to the Xfinity, which actually was a pretty good race. Except Kyle Sieg loses by 0.02 of a second. Like, my God.
That's
Like,
Brutal.
those closing laps. I'm
Yeah.
just, come on, Kyle. He's run so many races, has not won a race. His shot was here. I'm wrecking Sam Mayer at that point.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm putting him in the wall. Like, out of turn 4, once I see he's out there, Sam's going in the wall. It's my first win. Like, I'll feel sorry holding that trophy, counting my paycheck in the championship. But I don't know. Great race for Sieg. Can't be mad with second, but a win's a whole lot better.
True.
The only other thing on that one, the booth was actually pretty good. Ross Chastain in the booth, like Ross should just retire from racing right now and go to the booth. He was awesome. He actually really worked well with Joey Logano. I was like, this is weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to like it, but this is actually pretty good. Like,
No, you
leaps
like
and
pull
bounds
out of the
better than what
car
we get on Sunday.
that you wouldn't like in the car. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Different context. Like I never
Yeah.
liked Junior in the car, but I love him now that he's out of the car. He's great. So I get it. You can do that. I don't think Joey's
Yeah.
bad in the booth. I think he does okay.
No, that is.
And they were kind of
work-
ribbing on each other too, so that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good chemistry, which just doesn't seem like we have it in, especially the Cup with Harvick and freaking Clint Boyer. And then we got,
I don't
Mr.
know. I
No
think
Excitement.
Harvick and Clint sometimes work because they sort of joke. I think Clint's or not Clint. I think Harvick's really trying to drive that, but like they kind of joke
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
That's okay sometimes, but the
Yeah,
Cup is so
Harvick
fun.
does some cheap digs every once in a while on Clint. It's pretty funny.
He's like the guy that'll just like you're joking around, he'll just like I don't know, go way too hard all of a sudden, like out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Just look at you with that stupid smirk of his.
Yeah. Anything else to add for the Texas weekend?
Don't think so.
No, I think I'm good.
No. Repave, yes or no? Awesome.
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Joe?
Reconfigure.
Yes.
Reconfigure.
Got to
The
do
question-
something.
I think
I'm
everybody's
keeping the
in
bump in 3 and
agreement.
4.
You're keeping the bump at 3 and 4. There you go.
I'm keeping the bump in 3 and 4.
I think the question is what is the reconfig? What does everybody
Right.
want? I mean, do we want to do another Atlanta? Do we want to just
No.
do a repave, or
Road
do we
course.
want a road course?
Roval 2.0.
Yeah.
I want 1 and 2 to have a little bit more banking, maybe something progressive. I want them to be
Do
able
you
to
want
actually
1 and
use
2 to
that.
still mismatch 3 and 4?
I mean, you can make it the same, honestly. I would, though, like something to where the guy can run up against the wall and the guy can run at the bottom.
I think you could do
And
that.
I
in
want
Old
it to be
Texas, though.
close.
I think you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you watch Old Texas before the repave, it was at that point where you could. So, I don't know. Put it back the way it was, maybe. I don't mind having a wide track, but I want them to be able to use it. If they're not
What's the
going to
point
use
of
it,
the
what's
wide
point?
track if you're not touching it?
Yeah. Make it Darlington, add
Yeah.
30 degrees banking up just, a lane from the top. I don't know. Do something. 1 and 2 is just awful. And then, I don't know. I'm keeping the bump in 3 and 4. I like the character. If you can drive it, I think if they could go higher in 3 and 4, I think they'd be fine. But that middle section, if you hit that bump wrong, you're done. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like something making you done. I get like maybe it bobbles you or something like that, but just taking you out like that, I think you need to iron that out.
I mean,
or
it's only
smooth it
taking
out.
you out when you're pushing the car really hard there. So if a guy goes in knowing, hey, there's
So
a
then the
bump
lane's
here.
useless. You want
Not
more
really.
lanes, not fewer. If you just said it takes you out if you're pushing it, so you can't
Sam
push
Mayer
it.
used it fine,
It's the Xfinity car, completely different car.
but they can run there. It's not taking you out. It's just the cup car. So it's the car, not the track, right?
There's probably a little bit of truth to that. There's probably something there, not entirely, but yes,
Yeah.
in that specific feature, yes, it's the car can't handle it. But
Yeah. Brandon says to reconfig, put it back to how it was. I'd be fine with that. I mean, I went there back when Gordon won it in, what was that, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. It was great. But I don't know.
now I know which race not to watch from my watch through.
I'd actually had to go back and look at it because I was hammered. I went there sometime in like 2006 or 2007. I remember nothing. This is the race that my roommate, and this is the only person I've ever known to get kicked out of a NASCAR race.
Oh boy.
That's drunk.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
brother.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So it's story time. You guys got to hear this. So
yeah, we gotta lock in for this.
it was for my 19th birthday. He had just a Ford Ranger, right? We go there the night before and we tailgate, get hammered. I sleep in the bed of the truck. He sleeps in the cab. We wake up early, sun up, start drinking, like grab beer
Wait,
instantly.
how'd you do that? You were 19.
We
You might not
found
want
it
to tell the
on
story.
the side of the road. Dude,
Interesting.
I'm 37 now. Like, it doesn't matter.
I don't know, statute of
911?
limitations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Legal
Brandon is a
drinking,
bit
I'd
of a
like to
narc.
report it.
I don't know if you guys know this.
Yeah. But yeah, continued drinking until race time. We went in there and he disappeared for a while. I didn't know where. And I'm just like, well, this is weird. And I'm out of it. I'm hammered. And I had my beer present from him was a beer bong. So that got a lot of use too.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometime during the race, get text, got kicked out at truck. It was just like, wait, what? You got kicked out of a NASCAR race?
Wow.
But yeah. So that's a memory. I don't remember the race at all. Don't know who won. You asked me, no clue. But kicked out of a NASCAR race.
Impressive.
All right. Let's move on to some NASCAR news. We had a drivers meeting on Saturday. We heard just a little bit from like Denny Hamlin, a couple other drivers. They're working on the short track package. They gave up on Aero. Thank God. Who would have thought Aero does nothing on short tracks? We said it the day we heard of the first change. But so now they're focusing on tires, and horsepower is not on the table.
Off the table, officially, apparently. Which is awesome.
Until they announce the hybrid format in 2 years.
Man, I just keep thinking you're right. I want to think my theory is right. I really do. But they love their cars being close. So I don't know.
That's why I'm going to get kicked out of Kansas. I'm going to go walk around and ask every driver what they think of a hybrid platform for NASCAR.
I mean, it's
investigative journalism right there.
Oh, yeah. Got to ask the hard questions.
But on that topic of tires, I had a bit of an aha moment while I was listening to Hamlin's podcast. I don't know if anybody's listened to it, but I assume anybody who's found our podcast has listened to Denny's. But in case you haven't, what Denny was talking about was how like the tire purchasing works for the Cup teams. So basically, the way I understand it is NASCAR says you are allotted 10 tires for the race this weekend. So you go to Texas, you're allotted 10 tires. The teams have to buy, sets tires. Yeah. The teams have to buy all 10 sets from Goodyear. And you buy all those tires whether you use them or not. They are yours. So like at the end of the race, if you've only used 6 sets, you don't get to give those back and get a refund. You have to take them back. So they take them back and you can use them again, but only at a track that uses the same tire compound. So I think the example he gave was like Texas. You could then use tires from Kansas, or you could then use tires from Texas at Kansas. But the problem is the teams don't like to do that because the tire sits and gets stagnant and the rubber sort of degrades a little bit or whatever. So they're just going back and buying new each race. They're buying a new allotment of tires. And Denny said JGR will throw away $1 million worth of tires at the end of the year. After all said and done. What you can do is you can sell these tires to smaller teams. Like you can sell to like a smaller team. But I was thinking about it. What small team is probably buying not new tires from Goodyear? Because you got to, I mean, you would think Spire used to, FRM used to, Rick Ware used to, but all those teams, probably Colleague, but all those other teams,
Legacy,
they're kind of on the up. I don't know. I don't know if Legacy would or not. Maybe. But I don't think you have the pull to like sell all your tires away.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not if you have $1 million worth of tires at the end of the year.
Right.
So what I was thinking, little aha I had, because we talked about it before, like what incentive does Goodyear have to make a tire that wears? Why would they, from their perspective, want to do it? NASCAR says, make us a tire that wears. They'll say, well, try, but what incentive do they really have? Because if they make a bad tire, everybody roasts Goodyear. they're still making all their money from the teams each week, so they don't care. So I was thinking, what's Goodyear's number one priority? They want to sell tires. So let's make them sell tires
more
to
tires.
teams. So let's make them sell tires to teams. So what you do is you put Goodyear in a position. So now you flip it. Instead of buying all 10 sets from Goodyear, you're only buying the sets that you use during the race. So if they bring a super hard tire to the race and you only use 5 sets of tires that race, that's all you're paying Goodyear. So what Goodyear now is motivated to do is I need to sell more tires to the teams. How do I do that? I need to make a fresh set of tires more valuable than track position, because that's the dynamic that's flipped. Everybody finds track position more important than tires. So you have to make that change. You have to make it so that the tire is that valuable that the team's going to want to put it on the car.
Huh.
So then if the team's going through more tires, they're buying more tires.
I like that idea. I agree. However, counterpoint. Now my brain's drawing a blank. So what my counterpoint even was? It was something really good though, and it was going to completely destroy your entire argument. Oh, this is it. How much does that de-incentivize Goodyear to be in the sport if NASCAR changes that though?
Fuck them. Go to Hoosier.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, so if Goodyear's saying, and maybe you only do this, you give them a chance to make this tire that you want them to make now and see where it goes. Maybe they can make the tire and be great. But if they can't, then I think this is how you motivate them. Okay, we're only paying you per tire, per sets of tires that we actually use.
Yeah.
Make your tires wear so that they're valuable enough that the teams are actually going to put them on. Because the team shouldn't be eating that cost.
Right.
I mean, yeah. They're going to buy spare tires, right? Goodyear's not going to buy them back just because that's not how things work. Like, if you sell somebody like 5 hamburgers and they eat 4, you're not going to pay them to get that.
Yeah, but you don't have a choice. You have to buy 5.
That sucks. Go somewhere else where you don't. I don't know. But there's no reason for Goodyear to buy them back, in my opinion.
I'm not saying they're buying them back. You never sold them to me in the first place. That's what I'm saying is you're flipping it. Instead of just saying, okay, Goodyear, you're guaranteed to sell each team 10 tires every week. No, you will sell them as many as they need to use.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
make a good tire that wears like we want it to wear, and you could sell 8 or 9 sets. Or bring a hard tire that never wears, and you're only going to sell 4 or 5.
Is that how it used to be back in the day? I feel like that is.
I don't know, because back in the day, they didn't have like a tire allotment, so I'm not really sure how it worked.
Yeah, you have guys wrecking out and people running over to buy their tires.
Get their tires.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. Maybe there was a certain agreed upon number, and then if you went over that, you could. I honestly have no idea. It's a great question.
Yeah. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I don't know. I just want a better
fortunately,
tire. That's all I want.
Fortunately, Indy 2008, there was no tire allotment, I don't believe, because they went through all the tires that were there at the track. They almost had to dip into the Pocono set.
Yep.
So, I don't know. That was just my thought. Like, and if NASCAR wants to do something that, like one, I think that motivates Goodyear to make a bad tire, because Goodyear has no motivation. Right now, for them, it's all downside. If they make a tire and Chase Elliott blows his tire at Texas while leading, Joe's going to be the first person on Twitter MFing Goodyear about how they can't make a tire. So, you got to give them a reason to play. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they go. They're saying we're on the phone with Goodyear every day and this, that, and the other thing. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what they're willing to give us, but I still think you can take $1 million just wasted. That sucks.
Dude.
You got to figure something else out.
Isn't that per car?
Yeah, it's like $250,000 per car. It was $1 million the whole time. So say it was a high estimate. Call it 200,000 being conservative.
It's kind of crazy.
That's a pretty insane expenditure, considering we don't want to add horsepower because we don't want to cost the teams extra money.
Yeah.
That's an area where you need to look at saving the team's money. That kind of thing. That's just excessive waste.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It is. I mean, what's the best you can do is sell it for $50 to a fan? Like,
I
It's
mean,
not like
they
anybody's
can
going
hope.
out running Cup tires.
I
Nobody's
had a
got
Morgan
the-
Shepherd tire for a while.
Well, nobody
Yeah.
wants a new tire. They all want, like, if I buy a race tire, I want a used tire. I want a tire that came from
Yeah.
somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this came off the 20 car at this track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
like you would.
oh, did you see
Yep.
the one they took off of Christopher Bell's car this week after he wrecked?
To the one with
Dude,
the hole in it.
No.
It looked like a freaking tube that you go down like a slide on. It looked so weird. I'll find the video and send it to you later. Like, it must have broke the cords in it, and it was like round. It was weird.
Like a wheel.
But,
Strange.
No,
It was like round and like an air.
It was
in
like
it.
an
Oh,
energy.
weird. It's like what you see on like a car. It was so weird.
Okay.
I had to.
I'm gonna move on. We are a quarter of the way through the season,
We are.
and Ford has still not won.
Oof.
Anything.
That's
Brad
tough.
finished second this week. We had
Close.
what's his name? Ryan Blaney finished second at Atlanta.
Ain't
Well,
They
first
haven't
though.
even won in the lower series. That's
Kyle
wild.
Sieg lost by 2,000 was second.
Only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be something? The only Ford win would be Kyle Sieg.
Kyle Sieg. Yeah,
Gosh.
not even a Ford team technically. That's his own team.
No.
Yeah.
So
Buys his cars from HendrickCars.com.
yeah, do you see Ford getting better? They got to do something, right? They got to be working on something. I expected them to start
wild.
off slow, but man, it's still pretty bad.
I mean, I think we all thought they were going to just be dominant at mile and a half. We all saw that quarter panel or that
Yeah.
fender, not quarter panel, those front fenders and how they're all sculpted into the hood and all that. Like, oh, that son of a gun's going to generate some downforce. They're going to be wicked fast at these mile and a half, and they're just nowhere.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Like you said, with the fenders on it and everything, I thought they'd be awesome with just side downforce and that, and they're struggling.
Apparently not.
I don't know. It's one of those things. They got to figure out something, right? I know they got the set downforce number that they can hit, and I don't know where they're at as far as those numbers, but God, they are awful.
Yeah.
And I mean, every week though, it's Hendrick, it's JGR/2311, right? I don't know. The good teams have hit, and the other teams have not, and then Ford is just struggling.
Hendrick and JGR are the only teams that won points races. So what do you? Oh no, I'm sorry. Trackhouse won one
Reddick.
race, not one in. Well, count the clash. I'm talking regular season races. I'm excluding the previous preseason races. But it's nuts. There's not a roll.
Yeah, like I said, top teams are just doing what they do, just destroying. And but
quarter of the way through the season, like you said, at what point do you start thinking about the playoffs and where we're at? Are you worried about it yet? If you're a driver who's outside looking in,
halfway is my
halfway is your
Halfway through the
gotta
regular
pay
season.
attention.
the NBC time. I think once you get past June, that's when you really got to start kind of freaking out, because then you got like 5 races left before the
I think
championship
NBC
starts?
picks up with 10 left
Okay.
because I
Wait.
think Sonoma's Fox's last race, and that's race 16. So
Okay.
then NBC would pick up for Iowa at 17. So yeah,
Okay. But yeah, I'd say July, beginning of July. Once maybe you get past the Chicago road course, that'd be my time that I'm starting to freak out.
Yeah.
I know that you got to make that last push.
well, maybe freak out isn't the right word. What
Get a little
part of
nervous.
the season do you think that? All right, I like Denny Hamlin, perfect example. Like you have to think, I'm not going for the win. I'm taking this second.
I mean, yeah,
Where you
that
just gotta-
regular
I
season
need-
championship, the points
need
for that
good
would
day
be
stuff.
very helpful.
Yeah,
I think he does need to start thinking about that. His mistake, it cost him. I think he would have been the leader in the regular
that's what
season
he said on his
points. But
podcast today.
did he? Yeah. So that would have been great for him, obviously, and him trying to win his first championship, which, God, I just want it to happen now so I don't have to hear, you haven't won a championship. But I don't know.
What do
I
you
think
But
if you're
you know what's
Ford,
gonna happen
though,
if he wins the championship, though, right? You know what's gonna happen.
NASCAR gave him a
No,
championship.
no. Oh, he
No.
won the playoff format. This means nothing. Mickey Mouse champion.
Uh,
That's what it'll be.
yeah. But I don't know. If I'm Ford, I'm starting to get worried now.
I agree.
Other than that, I don't. Maybe teams like Legacy, if they want to make a push, they got to start, really thinking about it. Spire, if they want to try to make the top 16. But I think Ford right now, they're worried. And they got right. What was it? Joey Logano's got like 100 laps led versus Kyle Larson's 500. And then after that, it's Todd Gilliland for Ford because of Atlanta. So that's
They
I don't
they do have 4 in the top 16 in points, but it's 7th with Blaney and then 12th, 13th, and 15th. So
Blaney's the only one.
they
that's
gotta
even
they
close.
gotta
couple
be,
wins and they're out.
yeah, seriously.
Well, they got Dega
I'm gonna
coming
move
up,
on.
so maybe
Yeah,
they'll score
Dega.
something there.
Anybody? I like the schedule coming up. By the way, you got Talladega, Dover, Kansas, and I can't remember what's after Kansas.
Darlington, I think.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's a great schedule. And then Charlotte, I think, or no, North Wilkes, then
Well,
Charlotte.
Wilkes.
So
Oh my
man,
God, like
Yeah.
This is the good part of the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. We've gotten through kind of the rough few races. Now we're on to the.
I hate having to
Yeah.
say that
highlights.
short tracks were the rough part of the schedule.
Yeah.
God,
I
that
know.
sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Yep.
These next 5-6 weeks gonna be pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The CW is taking over the last 7 Xfinity races this season. Anybody
Cool.
want to say it?
Football.
I think it's a good move. It's a great move for CW.
Yeah.
It's a great move for NBC.
But isn't NBC still producing it technically?
The
Yes.
NBC's
Yeah.
fully doing it. It's going to be a 100% NBC broadcast.
just
Yeah.
from what I
not on
understand.
NBC?
Just on
Yeah.
CW.
I liked all the comments right off the bat and just saying, "Oh, this is the downfall of NASCAR. Why don't we even have that station?" And blah blah blah, all this other bullshit. And that is going to lead us into our Boomer of the Week.
Uh-oh.
Boom. We got
Boom.
4 of them this week. There's a lot more, but these are the guys I picked. NASCAR really fallen that far. The CW is where it's televised now. Damn. That's a serious fall from the spotlight of the 1970s and early 2000s. Yes, because when TBS, TNN had races, that wasn't the downfall. The CW is the downfall.
CW's
You
the
know.
low point.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Oh,
watch
yeah.
half the races of the season growing up because they were on all those random channels.
So for those that don't know, the CW is a broadcast network. If you have a freaking antenna, you can get the CW. Which the second guy put it on Flow Racing. At least I'll be able to find it. And you're paying for Flow Racing.
And extreme fees for flow racing too, for the record.
Yeah,
Just want to clarify. Flow Racing is a fantastic subscription. If
it
you're
is.
interested in getting
I'm
it,
not
it's
saying
awesome.
it's not. But you get people saying every week, "Oh, I don't have FS1. I'm not paying for
Right.
that." Blah, blah, blah.
Everybody's
Get
been
Flow
wanting.
Racing. It costs a shit ton more.
Right. Everybody
Right.
says about putting. Oh, we want these races on main channels. Here you go. The Xfinity Series, which is probably more often than not on your FS1s and cable networks, is now coming to a full broadcast network, like full time. That's crazy.
I don't
Yeah.
have Uno. I have the oldest Xbox known to man.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you have Uno. Every Xbox has it. Like it came with your Xbox. So it's same vibes between that and these people not thinking they get the CW.
Yeah. Next two. I don't get the CW. Yes, you do. Wow, are you joking? I watch every week. If you do this, I don't have that channel. Yes, you do. I mean, that's all it was all week. Just people, "Oh, I don't have it." Yes, you do. Just put a little effort into it. Get an antenna. Saw somebody that says, "I have DirecTV. I don't get that channel." Yeah, you do.
You do.
I don't know. Just get over it. This is a good move. It really is. And with NBC, hosting it still, it's a pretty good move. Granted, it is during the playoffs, the Xfinity playoffs, but nah, good move. Broadcast network, And it sets them up for next year when they're a full-time, was it next 7 years or something like that? 5 years? I don't know what the TV deal is, but yeah. They spent like $800 million to get this. They're in. They're all in. They're getting football too, apparently. Like, they're trying to get sports. They're trying to grow. Good for the CW. Good for the sport. Good for the fans, in my opinion. So I'm all for it. And last on the news is this absolute idiot that has called Raja out on Facebook that he was not standing properly for the national anthem. And just says he's not patriotic and stuff like that. I'm fat. I don't put my hand across my chest. I'm patriotic. I love this country. Raja is an awesome kid. He was doing nothing, right? He's standing properly. He's at ease. He's not kneeling. He's not doing anything. But he gets called out for it. And everyone's just shitting on him. There's so many people just being absolutely shitty towards Raja. I don't want these people in my sport. Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here. Finding anything to be mad at him for.
Yeah. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm so mad about it. Like, I am. I love Raja. He's a good kid. And this random ass guy has just caused a shitstorm for no goddamn reason.
Yep. Stupid.
But, yeah. I stand with Raja. But
we better, if you're standing with him, you better put your hand over your heart, though. So, otherwise,
I will purposely not now. I'm protesting. No, I'm not. But, like I said, I'm just fat. Let's move on to the kill count. Kyle Busch, he's getting one added.
You know what's really annoying? No. I mean, I wasn't sure about that one, and because I never saw a good replay of it. And then NASCAR Social puts a good replay where you can actually see, oh yeah, Kyle did send him. Like, why do we not get that on the broadcast? It's so annoying.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Byron Chastain one. That in-car showed so much, like,
I don't think we saw one of the Priest Blaney one either.
No, we didn't. That one bothered me too, because all they really showed was like the tail end of it. Like, Blaney was already sideways going, and they're like, I think Priest was behind him.
They're too busy up there eating ice cream. They're not paying attention to what's going on.
Not paying attention.
Which, speaking of that, Priest is getting one because he absolutely sent Blaney.
Yeah, he did.
Ty Dillon's getting one. And should I take William Byron off?
No, it's got to be fair.
You got to give him one.
You got to give him one.
Okay.
It's one we approve
And
of.
Willie B gets one.
It's one, yeah, we approve it.
Yep. All right, let's Survivor pool.
Oh, boy.
We're not prepared for this one.
No, we're not. That's all right.
Do it on the fly.
Do it live. Let's see. So what did we do? Oh, I won again.
I'm on a cold streak.
I was so close. I was never rooting against Kyle Busch more than I was this weekend. Just because if Joe finished last and I won, I would have been within a point of him.
Oh, dude. Austin is so close to winning this.
No. I don't, dude. I cannot beat just a single break.
Austin had Ross.
Uh-huh.
Zach had Byron.
Yep.
Whoops.
I called it in.
Zach
you
gets
did.
4 points.
Like,
Austin gets one.
Go ahead.
On the hit.
You have a shot.
66.
Yeah.
So Austin, who's your first pick this week?
Well, hold on. We didn't go through the whole. Did you go through it? I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy laughing.
I mean,
Easy, nice
you
drink.
said who else?
Yeah. Well,
Kyle Busch was Joe's pick.
So yeah, I won with Byron.
Finished 9th?
Yeah. Andrew was second
Right.
with Bubba, who got 7th, and then Joe third with KB, who did get that. Like, just how did you get 9th? And then Drake with Chastain, who got
Joe.
Chastain.
Yep. Love it.
Got him.
Okay.
So who you going with, Drake?
I hate to curse my guy, but I think I'm going Corey LaJoy.
Corey LaJoy. Super Speedway, always a good pick. Who's up next, Joseph?
Give me Reki.
Decent pick.
It's fair. Put money on Reki now.
Cool. I'm going with Joey Logano.
Joseph Logano.
And who you got?
God damn it,
Zach?
Andrew. There. I don't know. Should I pick a Ford? I feel like it's be a good layup week. Let's see. I don't even know who I don't have picked.
Cody Ware.
Yeah. Who's the guy? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
On the Beard Motorsports.
Nah, Todd Gilliland. That's it. I'm gonna take Todd Gilliland.
Yeah. I actually thought about taking him. I was like,
I thought about it too.
Not do Logano and take Todd. I bet it's top 10 every time, but it's not good odds right now.
We'll do a little bit of layup. Talladega is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have.
You want to do betting first or OnlyFans first?
We don't have an OnlyFans.
Well,
so
I guess we're doing betting.
Yep. I haven't looked at the odds lately, but I did post in our Discord earlier today that Michael McDowell plus 4,000. Michael McDowell's a good super speedway race. He's got a Daytona 500 win. He's still 4,000.
Yep. LaJoy,
Mr.
5,000.
Corey LaJoy, 5,000.
Yep.
Great.
I threw 50 cents on those. Just a little. They still pay out like $20 or $30 or something. I may end up throwing some more on. Who knows? I feel like this is obviously my first time betting at Dega. I don't think I bet at any of those super speedways. I don't know if we were able to yet, but it seems to me that betting for these kind of races is either the best or the worst because you can pick a guy like McDowell or LaJoy who has really good odds and like get decent payouts if you pick the right guy. But it also sucks. It feels like a lot of these prop bets just do not have good odds. Like Ford, I'm like, surely they have good decent payout for picking Fords. They haven't won anything, but it's plus 170 and Toyota's plus 230. All these driver prop lines, all of them are negative unless you're doing like Noah Gragson to beat Ty Gibbs or McDowell to beat Ricky or Corey to beat Austin Dillon. Those are the only ones that have anything positive for any of those matchup picks. I don't know. Like you're
not doing head-to-heads here.
You're not doing head-to-heads. Nothing's good there, but I feel like you have some decent, obviously if you pick the right guy from way back in the pack, might get some good live bet odds, live odds too during the race. Who knows? But hopefully get lucky. Guy makes it through a crash late or something like that. What your
things you will want to look for, and they're not up right now, would be like the top Toyota driver or top Ford driver. You can get lucky with there, get some good odds. The group winners, I haven't really looked at them. I usually avoid them at play tracks.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the money maker, if you want to just take a moonshot here, you can parlay the top 10s. So, and this happened a couple years ago during, I think it was Daytona, when the rainstorm hit and took out all the fast cars. Somebody bet like $2 and won like $500,000 because they had like Cody Ware and whoever the other, four of the just guys that are going to be in the very back. They had them parlayed together and it freaking hit because the rainstorm.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's not going to happen. But if you want to, like right now, I've got Daniel Hemrick and Anthony Alfredo parlayed together at plus 2,800. You can do stupid shit. Like, honestly, I'm liking Justin Haley, and then you can do it with something like, let's go Michael McDowell, plus 837. It's possible. But, even if you want to do a couple of the other, like, higher up guys, let's do 3. Plus 544 for, the guys that are around plus 100. So I don't know. You can make good money there, but it is a more long shot at the same time.
Right. For sure.
You're hoping for that big wreck and maybe 2.
Or just other than that, with not great odds to run well, like a Corey, or if you, throw a Corey and McDowell in a top 10, not the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just got to look up like the guys that have historically been good at play tracks, and I usually go for guys that have teammates that are also fast. Like
Yeah.
Todd's fast, McDowell's fast, so I like both those guys. Where, I'm looking at it like John Hunter. He's not the greatest play track racer, but his teammate is, right?
Right.
And he's usually one of the better pushers. You always hear it from drivers like, Eric Jones pushing me really well, and he had a fast car. So it's possible. Is it going to hit? Who knows? It's freaking Talladega. This is one of those weeks where either if you don't want to lose money, just skip a week. Go to Dover,
True.
Bet Denny Hamlin at Dover. But this is the shit show. Good luck, right? It's be careful. Don't bet the house like I did with Ty Gibbs, who was the fastest fucking car and had a penalty. But yeah,
cool.
That's betting.
Love it.
All right.
Yep. I'm excited for
Dega.
Dega. Yeah. Love me some super speedway. If you have iRacing, the old Lotus is at Talladega, apparently. I kind of want to try it.
That looks fun.
Anything else to add, guys? Or are we going to wrap this bitch up?
I think we're
good. Chase is back. That's all I got.
Hell yeah. No.
Woo.
Does he get another win? Let's say in the next 10 races, Joe.
I think so. I knew this win was coming for a little bit. You could tell Chase was running very good.
I think he gets a road course. He's got his swagger back. He'll get a couple.
All right, Joe. Okay. Hand check.
Hand check, Joe.
Hand check. He's not doing it.
Oh, God.
No, it's terrifying. Oh, there's one. Okay.
There's one.
Oh.
Are you lefty or righty?
Pink eye now.
Looks like a righty, I guess. Good to know.
All right. On that note, I'm out. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For more from the boys and the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWC Pod for the podcast, at Biggles TV for Zach, at ShakenDrake_TTV for Austin, at Picks by Fitz for Andrew, and at J_Sully10 for Joe. Head over to thegwcpod.com to submit a question for our OnlyFans segment. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to catch you again next episode.
Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, Cards Subject to Change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod Villagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe Winkle? Probably not, but he's still here talking sports on Educated Ignorance. Football season might be over, but we've still got you covered. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
For Frequency's Sake is brought to you by Durham Remodeling, serving the Quad City area's remodeling and repair needs since 1973. Clint's Draft House, grab a bite and a pint. 7th Street Moline. Lopez, New York-style pizza served up by the slice or pie, Davenport. Lifted Energy, energy drinks, coffee, donuts, and more. #GetLifted. Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Sports cards and memorabilia, vintage clothing, hats, pennants, and more. Ryan Allison Tattoo. Step into the vibrant world of tattoos with Ryan Allison. And A Cut Above, offering quality custom woodwork designed specifically around our customers.